Wow, we got sisters on the podcast. So we are both older brothers,
Yep.
younger sisters,
The oldest.
oldest, the most righteous, the
That's a
most
fact. That's
powerful,
a fact.
All right, all
most
right,
The
godly.
all
leader.
right.
Leader. Love to see it.
Y'all lost me.
Love to see it.
So, um, there was a podcast that we did that never saw the light of day. Shout to Casey. Um, and during that podcast, it was more of a podcast probably after the podcast than
That
it
then it
was
was
during the
during the
podcast.
podcast. Yeah.
But part of it, we talked about Casey mentioned, her relationship with her brother, and she um she and me talked about the fact that you both y'all well, I only see it from your end, but I see you post your sister. Y'all seem like y'all have a very comfortable, cool relationship. And so I've heard you on here talk about being a brother dad and um and all of these things. So where was it always that buddy buddy? Was it rough?
Oh no.
Was it
No, but I'm
you
gonna let
know
you tell the story because you know exactly what story of death
Okay,
that. Yeah,
but
go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't think we were gonna get that
Oh yeah,
far.
we're here now.
I feel like obviously when like you're younger, like you're not like that close, like how you have like the bond now. So like I guess when I was 4, he's trying to bring up like I put like soap in a water
Traumatized.
bottle and like try to get him to drink it. Like I was trying to kill him, like but then it backfired. My grandmother told me to drink it, so I'm
That's
sitting there
right,
drinking
Phyllis.
soapy
That's the
water,
first
and
positive
I'm
comment
trying
about.
to
Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you.
I'm
Thank
trying to
you.
set him up, but that's the only
Yeah,
thing I ever set you up with.
it was the
I
last
was
time.
4.
I was
Okay,
I was
come
protected.
on.
I was protected. Uh, but yeah, no, it wasn't always like that. Oddly enough, I would say once I started coming to visit New York more when I was living in North Carolina the first time, it would be more like it was like, oh wow, my older brother, wow, like oh my little sister. Da, da, da. And then when I
Well,
moved,
before you say that, what's the dynamic like? Because you said you came back to
oh yeah, I
you
did
would
kind
come
of
back to
breeze
New
past that.
York.
Yeah.
So did y'all grow up together most of y'all lives? Did y'all not? What was that like?
It was that what that 3 year span. That was like the only time we didn't really
3 year. I think it was
when I
no, it
first moved to
was
North Carolina.
yeah,
That was it
it was
really.
3 years. Yeah. Um. So my our mother, he kind of views her more as like a sibling
Malcolm's mother.
since Malcolm's mother, since she had him like younger. So he was really taken care of by our grandparents mostly. So we lived in Amityville at first, and what was it? You were, I think
12.
someone was moving. Yeah, Nana was
Yeah,
moving,
yeah, yeah.
and they decided they were going to take him to North Carolina, and my mom was going to raise me and stay here. Like,
Okay.
basically, like, take him, like, that's our child. We're taking him. My mom was she okay with it? I don't know. I was
Yeah, she
like
was fine.
4 at the
She
time. I
was
don't really
fine.
remember.
I was tight.
Like,
Fight back, damn it.
right. So he moved to North Carolina. I stayed here in New York, and yeah, so we were just 400 miles away for like 3 years. So it was like I have an older brother. He just lives in North Carolina with my grandparents. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So when he would come to visit, it would be like
Yeah.
summers. So that's when he would be visiting.
Right. Right.
Okay. And then to get back to what you were saying, so how did it morph to where it is now?
Well, coming back to New York in 2009, it was more like a, oh wow, brother, he's here again. Like my older brother, not my annoying little one who, whatever, whatever. And then even then, it wasn't like we were the best of friends, but we would talk more. She would come in my room and be in my bed sometimes. Just little things like that. But where it really took a turn was where the one semester I went to school. That one semester I went to school. I came back. I'm just gonna skip past the rest of the story. I came back and there was an unidentified woman in my room with her 3 children. So I didn't have a room of my own anymore. So me and my little sister had to share rooms for the first time in our life. So, and it wasn't just the two of us, we had our little brother in there too. So it was the three of us in a room. I was 20. I was 20 going on 21. She was
14.
14 going on 15. So like pivotal years, and you're having to share your room with a damn near adult, and a damn near toddler. And what are you gonna do? You know, like, are you going to hate each other because you have to share these close quarters, or hate the fact that she's a teenage woman and she has to share her room with her older brother, has no sense of privacy to, whatever, whatever? Or do you guys make the most of it? You know, so that was where it kind of took the shift, because I would come home from school or work, she would come home from school, and we would be in the same space. So it was like we would just talk, and then like from there, our common denominator is our mother's a interesting character. So we bonded to the
The
fact that our
most
mom was a
the most
interest.
interesting character.
So it's like it was that's what forced it, but we were never like against it. We were never like,
Yeah.
I really like this dude. Like I don't really bangs with him. There was a brief moment in time where I was like taking the brother dad role too seriously, and it was more so because my mom would empower me with it. And that was like the first thing she was like actually really supportive of. Oh yeah, take your brother. Oh, your brother or your sister did this, that, and the third. So I would take the,
You need to
yeah, mom.
talk. You
I'll
need to
I'll
talk to
talk to,
your sister.
yo.
You need
Right,
to talk
right,
to your
right,
brother, like
right.
as if that was his job.
Exactly. Matter of fact, she just called me 3 days ago about my little brother. But anyway,
Oh, I told
besides the
her to
point.
call you
Yeah, I
because
know.
she
I
wasn't
was
gonna
gonna
do
get to
it.
that. I was gonna get to that. Don't do that.
I said you can
So
call Keem
yeah, right, exactly.
because
No, I'm the reference point. But yeah, just to not go too far off on a tangent about it, that was the moment in time that really brought us together. And then as we just kind of experienced some things that would happen at our previous address together, that just brought us closer. Little moments like that. Um, and again, the common denominator being such a fascinating individual. Uh, make jokes, inside jokes. There was a time where our mother would go to the hospital with the most strangest of injuries. So me and her, yo, we would,
we
yo,
have
we,
a
yo, we
video.
had videos on top of videos of us being at Good Sam Hospital.
She would go to the hospital because she cut her finger. Like she'd be like, "Oh my god, you guys gotta take me to the
Right,
hospital." So she would be in the
right,
hospital bed and we'd be like, "Yo, take this video of us real quick." We would have
right,
masks on. We'd be like,
right.
and
Just
she's in the
dancing,
hospital bed. Like we do not
just
care that
laid
she's in
up,
the hospital.
just
Like
like this.
she's lit like, and she has this voice when she's like,
Oh my god.
she's like, I don't know, I just
I
don't
just, I
feel
don't.
good. Malcolm,
Yeah.
stop doing that. I don't know, like my head
Oh
hurts.
my
I'm like,
god.
what the?
So yeah, man, we had that to bond over, and then we just started to realize how we were both like extremely mature, just based off the fact that we've had to experience some things that maybe most people at that age shouldn't have to. Um, and even that's subjective, but just to say that we bonded through the fact that we were more than forced to live life extremely close together.
I feel like
Too.
I've always been protective, like over him, seeing like growing up, like basically always getting the shit end of the stick and like the whole family. Like I feel like out of like all the grandkids, like it's him that's getting beat with the stick. And then obviously like his little sister looking up at that, like it's just like even from when we grew up together when I was like 5, like in the Amityville house, like I feel like when you get in trouble for having like juice boxes in your room and you get beat, I'd be in the corner like, don't hurt him, like oh my god, like, but yeah, and like even like when we grew up together, like getting kicked out, like it always like hurt me a lot more. So like I feel like I always had that like protective like over him, like being like, let me make sure he's good. Like I don't want anybody to, yeah.
Oh,
My dog.
look at
That's my
that.
dog. That's my dog.
And so, no,
No, no, go ahead.
so the difference between y'all 5 years, 6?
Five and a half.
Six, 6.
What was your
It's
birthday?
five
Son?
five
Yeah,
years
yeah,
and
okay,
11
yeah.
months.
There you go.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
six,
six.
Yeah,
yeah.
six.
Like,
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, 6 years. All right. Yeah, there's two between us. Um,
Oh,
very close growing up, and you know, we it's been a long road. There was times where we were the best of friends, and then we went through a period where we couldn't stand each other for a little while,
naturally, naturally.
and then now I think I definitely think we're we're obviously back in the space where we're, the best of buddies. But um, I think now more so, obviously, than we were younger, because we more so know ourselves and we understand who we are as people. We're able to have certain conversations, um, and really get to know each other at a deeper level to kind of be there for each other and look out for each other and have. Would you say that?
Yeah, because actually before you said that, I was like, yeah, there were like some tough times, but like we always kind of like bounce back. Um, we we understood that we had like a difference of opinion, but we had the same goal in mind, which was to get along. Um, but yeah, I think that some situations have like tested both of us and kind of like forced us to get a better hold on who we are. And I think that some of that strife kind of contributed to why we were like we butt heads sometimes. But now that we've like gotten older, it's like a lot easier to just say, okay, let's actually, if you disagree, right, like let's follow this thought. Let's have a conversation about this, and we can agree to disagree at the end of the day, even if it, you know, something that I don't agree with or you don't agree with or whatever. But we still respect each other, and I think that that was like the last piece was like the respect.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
And I think that I talked to her before, and I said there were times where we would be butting heads, and it was her saying, "Hey, you're making me feel a way by doing this,"
Mm.
and I'm saying, "Hey, um, this is the best way to do this." And instead of reaching into her feelings and meeting her there, and her saying, "Yo, I'm coming from a place of yo, you making me feel a way," and I'm coming from a place of, "Hey, logically, this is the best thing to do."
Yeah.
And we're both not talk. We're talking to each other, but we're not talking to each other. And I think that once we really started to figure out, how to speak to people and what feelings are, especially me, because I was super like, nah,
Yeah.
feelings,
Yeah.
get all
Yep.
that out
Yep.
over
Yep.
here. I
Yep.
don't
You.
want to, I just want to talk about facts, straight facts. And that's it. And so once I really learned that aspect of it, it became to have these conversations, easier to have these conversations because now there wasn't that disconnection. It was like, okay, I'm actually answering the questions that she's saying.
Yeah.
I'm actually speaking to her feelings and what she's talking about.
Mm.
And then also, like y'all speak about your mother and the stories of your mother and bonding over your mother. Um, we bond over our mother too, but it's more so our father. Our father is we grew up in a house where um and I do praise my father for it because I think it gave us a head start with being able to speak our minds, and today I think that most people who know, if they know you, they would say, hey, she's one of the more opinionated people that I know, and I know that the people that
Yeah,
I know
oh, for
that know
sure.
me
For
would
sure.
say that. And so
Yeah.
you know so a lot of times we would argue and we would be in the house arguing and having disagreements, because my father said, hey, you know what, I want my children to be able to speak. And he did give us that. He gave us a start. He didn't grow up in that, so he would revert back to his old
The way
ways
sometimes.
if certain things got too tight. Like, nah, all right, this is it. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
this is
No,
what I'm
that's all I
saying,
got
and
for you.
that's it. And so, going through that process, it was interesting. But that's kind of the house that we grew up in, and that's where it was almost like gladiator school. It was like it was because it was like you kind of had to like
You had to have your points
correct
correct
all
Oh
the
yeah, I
time.
remember
Like you
that.
couldn't come in with no fuzzy like because somebody was gonna pick it apart, whether
all
it
the time.
be my sister Tracy, my
Right,
father.
right, right.
My mother didn't say too much, but when she did again, it would be that it would when my mother spoke, everything
it
shut
was low.
down.
It
It's
was
like, all
low.
right, okay, that's it. Because my mother, she came from the school of she was always like, yo, y'all gonna do what I say, and that's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna bother y'all too much. I'm gonna let y'all free. But when I speak, I
That
don't really want to hear no back talking.
that
Like
was
that's
that
it.
was the
Yeah.
compromise. It was like I'll let you guys do, but just know when I
When I
don't.
say something, it's lit. um, yeah, so that's what it was, and um, so what I would say to bring it to the next thing, like we both talked about our parents, and I'd say one one thing I really remember my parents telling me is, hey, uh, this is the closest person to you, not me, not your mother, not both of them. It's not your other parent. It's not your friends. It's none of that. This is the closest person to you. And when I heard that, it was like, all right, it was at all costs, do my best to protect her. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that I got her back. Now she'll tell you like I didn't do the best job at certain times with protecting her, but that was the focus, that was the goal. And so I say that to say, did you that's when I learned that it was important to have that relationship. I'll go, I guess, around the room.
Mm.
When did you learn that it was important to have that relationship with your sister?
When I realized that despite uh being the child of a teenage parent, that I still had a mother figure in a sense and a father figure. And after a while, once we moved, I realized my brother and my sister didn't really have that. So there was a lot of things that I needed to I just needed to make them aware of slash just have in the back of my mind at all times where it's like, okay, who's taking care of them? Like if my mom was working 2 times a day or whatever, who's feeding them? Just little things like that. And the protection comes naturally at that point because it's you're investing. Anything you put a lot of time and a lot of effort in, you're gonna want to protect it. And just that piece alone is enough to create that sense of all right, I gotta look out for them. But then when it becomes like I said, having that perspective I have where I see that they have a mother who works all the time, but they don't really have a consistent father figure. It's like, okay, they have a male figure. They have somebody who had male figures that comes from a community. That comes
The
from a
community.
community. Um, I knew then it was imperative to not just remind them that I have their back in any given situation, but actually be present in any given situation. And there's been times where I've gone overboard, and they now know to only call me in extreme circumstances. But it's never been an embarrassment. It was more so like, okay, my brother might actually kill this person, so let me wait to see if I actually need him here before I call him. Like the Best Buy incident, for example, when I walked up the street with a shovel and I had to be in the way. That was an example, and all they
And
did was
he's
come to.
currently banned from Best Buy
I
for
Yeah,
life.
I actually went in the other day, so it's lit. Um, but
He
that.
might be. He might be.
So that was that's just an example of my overprotectiveness of not just my siblings, but really family and friends in general. But definitely 10 times for her and 5 times for my little brother because he's a guy. But
And he's
that
he's Malcolm.
and he's Malcolm. He's another interesting
Right.
character. Yeah, that's his mother's child, man. I tell you. But so yeah, that I would say that's pretty much where it comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you, Kayla?
um, I feel like, and I tell him this all the time. Like once I get like a call from like my mom, I'm always like, "Listen, we grew up with this trauma together. We're gonna live through. Like I'm not gonna know something or go through something without you."
And she
Like
can do it. It's fine. She don't have to tell me.
no, my mom will say something. I'll be like, "Yeah, give me 1 second." I'll call him. You know what your mother just said to me? Like it's just I feel like it's the closest thing from like the very beginning. Like it is the closest thing from the very beginning. Like it's like you know me better than anyone that's ever gonna know me because you've seen me from
Yeah.
when I wasn't me to now. Like it's just we share that. So I feel like yeah, we have to be close.
Have to be. Yeah, no,
Have to
sure.
be.
So
Sure.
when were you there? Do you ever hear that from our parents?
Yeah, I was gonna say I never heard that, but by virtue of us being close in age and we used to hang out pretty often, I already saw you as that. Like I already saw you as my best friend. Like I didn't like I always wanted to hang out with you and so on and so forth. So I didn't really. It was kind of like a natural thing. I didn't really have to think about it like that. Um, that and like you're just cool. Like
Oh, brother.
like
No,
No
no,
pun
no,
intended. No pun
no.
intended. No pun intended. Oh, go ahead. Go
you
ahead.
know
I'm sorry.
even
It's cool.
like growing up in high school, people would be like, "Oh, Sessions, is your brother like on?" I'm like,
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh,
Tell about it.
man.
Tell about
Oh,
it. Tell about it.
man.
Tell about it.
I'm like, yeah, I never really. I guess I always thought of you highly because like
Because I'm worthy of that. Yes.
yes, totally.
This commercial break is brought to you by.
Y'all all kind of I want to kind of go back and talk about what my statement because y'all always like, oh, it's natural for me, and the way I said it kind of made it seem like it's not natural for me to take care of my sister. They just had to tell
Yeah,
me.
no, yeah.
So I'm gonna let y'all know, like, there's story. My parents would tell you stories from when she was born, of me being like 2 years old, standing by
Right.
her. Whenever somebody was holding her, standing right by them, like, yo, what's up? What y'all got going on?
What you need?
Like, y'all taking care
Your
of?
hands washed.
I'm right here, Tracy. Like, you good?
Family good? You
Yeah. So when you're kids, so what was growing up as kids versus now we all talked about like kind of the transition, but what was growing up as kids and some of the stories and intricacies of that time when y'all were living together in the same room, or no, before that, actually, before he moved and when y'all were living together, what was that like? You spoke on it a little bit when you talked about him just getting his behind whooped. But outside, outside of that,
Loose boxes.
outside of that, what were some of the fonder memories of growing up, and how was that like?
I feel like you remember more than
I
me.
do.
Yeah.
I got a few. There's one story that people love to tell. Her nickname is Cheese Doodle, right? So there was this incident in probably like '04 ish. '04, yeah, around that time. Brand new bag of cheese doodles. Nice, cheesy, like a cheese doodle should be.
Mhm.
My sister decided to open the bag, why not? She didn't like the actual doodle. She liked the cheese
Oh
off the
boy!
doodle.
Oh boy!
The age difference. Remember the
Right,
age difference.
she was
I'm
only she
4,
was only
he's
about
10.
she was
Let's
only
remember
about
that.
she was only about 3 or 4, but that's not the point. The point is she proceeded to um moisturize the cheese doodle and put it back in the bag. Me being an observant little kid, I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna mess with that. So fast forward to about 6 o'clock when normal adults come home from working, and my grandfather wants a snack. He sees the somewhat open bag of cheese doodles and proceeds to grab a couple. Nothing out of ordinary. And then he proceeds to grab one that is lacking cheese. And he still bites it because he's not paying attention to it. And he proceeds to just spit it out slowly. And one and in confusion and asked, who the hell put this cheese doodle back in the bag? And I'm like, hey, I already told you I don't eat cheese doodles like that, so it wasn't me. It's only one other person. It might have been Kayla. I don't know. I don't know. And she didn't get in trouble for it. Obviously, it was just more like,
Yeah,
why'd you do that?
yeah.
Okay, just he's like, okay, don't do that again. I'm like, why would the guy Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just one of the stories.
To this day, I get called cheese doodle. He brings it
Yeah,
up to
yeah, I
this
love,
day.
love, love it. Love the story. We had we mac and cheese, banana pudding was our favorite. She liked the bowl more than most would. What's another story? There's another one that was pretty cool. What was it? What was it? Oh, was it? No, 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 no. Maybe an older story. What's one when I first moved back? That was cool. Oh, the Christmas one where we got Guitar Hero
Yes.
or Rock Band.
Hmm.
And everyone else takes a cool instrument.
I'm just saying, Rock Band. I think I'm gonna give y'all props, man.
That brought people together.
Yo, that
That brought
really
Yeah.
bonded.
that bonded.
There was a lot of
That
sibling
Christmas.
bonding over that.
That Christmas was fire. That Christmas was fire that we had Rock Band. And naturally everyone wants to take an instrument. It's only really what, two, maybe three, depending on what package you got. So the only thing that was left was the mic. And I had to take that.
Okay,
Had to take
okay,
that. And
okay.
I was like, let me make this my own thing. I'll be the person who grabs the mic. Everyone else don't want to grab the mic. I'll grab the mic. So they pick I had the Tiger. And I channeled my inner Bruce Leroy, and I sang with everything I had in me. And it was recorded, and I started out just kind of singing it low because I don't really know the words like that. So I'm just like, "Na, na, na." But then once we get to the chorus, I decided to spring up
Yeah.
and start doing the temptation dance to Eye of the Tiger. And all you see is Kayla in the background of the video just dying laughing on the couch. And I'm over here dramatizing, falling onto the floor, literally going in. And
Literally going.
yeah,
Our cousin is like sitting there.
yeah, just
playing
slightly
the.
tapping.
I'm on the couch laid out, like singing with him. He's like,
Literally, I just spring up and everyone just starts crying because it's like but so like little moments and times like that we've had a great time. Um, the kid ones were
I
just
think that reminded me, like you saying, singing, the Five Heartbeats.
yes, the five heartbeats.
The
Okay.
Five Heartbeats. That movie, amazing, amazing.
And it was only because when I came back to New York, they put me in like the spare room with all the paint.
No, that was me. I was sleeping.
Um, yeah, she's a sleeper. So yeah, the five heartbeats. It was I got put in a room where the TV didn't have cable, and all it had was like a little tape player built in on the bottom. The only tape that worked was the five heartbeats. So naturally, anytime she came in my room, I just had it in the background. I wasn't necessarily watching it, but I needed something to, just be playing in the background. So then just one random day, we just sat there and watched it through and through. Um, and then from that point and on, like there's a part in the movie where the older brother and the little sister are singing. He's like on the bed trying to write a song and she's humming in the background and all that good stuff. And that was the part we identified the most with because it's like he's noticeably older than her and she's noticeably younger than him, but they bonded in that moment in time where they were just singing. So then from that point on, just random songs we'll just sing together. So the one we really sing together is "You and I" by Kiki Wyatt and Avant,
Okay.
and we just go in. That's just something that anytime the song is playing, we know the parts. We point to each other when it's their turn to sing. So like things like that have definitely been uh fun in terms of being siblings and growing and having just those moments in time where it's like you two know what's about to happen next, or you two can connect with just something foolish your mother says or your father says. I have to keep emphasizing that because it happens far more than it should at this age. However, Shayla, we still love you.
I just don't know
We
when the
do.
switch turned on to being like, you know what?
Right. Right.
Like,
Right.
let me just.
I feel like we were very devious with each other. Like, I remember very young going into the bathroom and collecting all the cleaning products and soaps and shampoos,
Wait, what?
putting them into like a random empty bottle, mixing them together, and just leaving it in the shower. We did it like multiple times. No one ever called us out on it either.
we would put all these products in the same container and just leave it there. So just a bottle of nothing.
It's a bottle of nothing at the end of the day.
We were baby bomb makers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That and I remember one specific time, like, my brother is like, he's a sneaky person. Because I remember one time someone moved the car.
I knew you was gonna say it.
And it was like, it was crazy. Like, it was so crooked. And my dad was like, who moved the car? And my mom was like, I did. I don't know. So we're like all day, we're like
Trying to figure out.
And we're like, oh, maybe it's Uncle Marvin. Maybe he took the keys and went for a joyride and then came back with the car. Like, and I was like, I didn't drive. I had no interest, and there was nowhere that I was going.
Right,
So
right,
definitely
right.
wasn't me. We were like making notes, trying to rule out people. This man is just sneaking around, not saying anything the whole day.
The whole day.
He whispers to me, he's
You went through all that trouble all day long.
The guilt was weighing on me.
Oh my god! You had to tell somebody.
I had to tell somebody, and I purposely I was like, you know what? I want because my sister, she a little snitch, okay? And
Oh wow!
like she'll tell on me, you know, like they'll be putting like I remember we would get into because when my grandmother would watch us, our parents would be at work and my grandmother would watch us, and most of the time it was cool, but sometimes we would get into arguments and fights, and you know I'd maybe push her or something.
Yeah,
like
a little
that.
something. Yeah.
And so I remember one time or a few times she would like I would hurt her. I would push her. She'd start crying. Oh, all right. And I'd be like, all right, yo, relax. Like, calm down. You know, like, hey, you all right? You okay? All right.
Suck it up.
And I'm like, don't tell, don't
Oh
tell.
man, that's when they tell.
They get home thinking everything cool. Vaughn, come down here. Oh, Jesus Christ.
You already knew what time it was.
I already know what time it was. So yeah, that's what would happen. And then so I knew this about her, so I was like, you know what? Let me I know exactly who to tell this to get this out to the rest of the family without me actually confronting the family and telling them myself. So I like I was talking to her about it, and she's like, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy, I did that. And so I waited a little while, and then later on that day I found out like, yeah, I came back and it was like, oh, so you moved the car. Okay, all right. So she ended up telling them, like in true fashion, I know my sister. She's gonna snitch on me.
Damn.
So yeah, there was that.
now I need to redeem myself.
Yeah, you might have to throw a couple of compliments his way or something, because
I just strongly believe in honesty, and I feel like
that's what.
Like, why lie about that? I can see if, like, if it was a situation with the cops or something like that, it'd be a different situation entirely. But like, if you move the car, why didn't you just tell him?
Because then it's no fun.
Well, because I didn't just move the car. I was taking it at that time to see a girl at night. And so I was coming back and didn't park the car correct. Because at this time I didn't know how to drive, really.
Sure you wanna, I mean?
Well, they know.
Okay.
Yeah, they know. Cool. They know. So yeah, that's what was going on. So
that's what you was doing for real?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I had the guts to do that.
Yeah, I was going for mine, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Where did she live? Out of curiosity,
She was right in the sticks. So I take the car right out of the 40s and go to the sticks. Yeah.
How old were you? I don't have to worry about being snitched on. I could say that about all my siblings. I don't have to worry about. I mean, unless it was like who ate the last such and such, because then it was all bets were off.
Yeah,
I didn't do it. It was me. I don't like that. I'm allergic. Just all types of shit just come out the windpipe when who ate the last chicken. But I was gracious enough not have to bribe my siblings with hey, don't tell your mom, or shh, be quiet before they find out. It was more like, hey, if mom asks, y'all ate around this time. I was back around this time, or tell someone so I'll be back by this time. I started to leave them at home because she just used to sleep, so it was great. It was fantastic. I love her. She was great. But the little one, the short guy, he just loved to just do just the most random things to find out that, oh, the older brother's not home. Where's Hakeem? Call. Where are you? Fuck. All right, I gotta go. You know, like that's when I would get found out. It was never like they would tell them, be like, oh, my brother told me not to tell you guys. It was just like my little brother would just go upstairs and hit the dog, and then the dog would bite him. Now they found out that I haven't been home for 5 hours. So there's that. But yeah, man.
Never
Okay.
was a snitch. Used to
Nah,
just have sneak people over.
oh yeah, that was a
I'd be
thing.
like, oh, do your
They
thing.
love her.
Oh,
They love
okay.
her. She was great. Every person I snuck into the house, they was cool with her.
My sister didn't really meet. She hated people, so she didn't really care to meet nobody that I was interested
you knew they
in.
wouldn't last. Is that what it was?
She didn't like people, man. She still doesn't really like people. Like she doesn't hate, obviously. She loves my dad, but yeah, them two butt heads the most.
Really?
And they're probably the most alike out of the
That's
two
why they
of
bump.
us. Cause they just like get into their little artistic bag and they don't really like people. Like they don't like socialize.
That
Like
is an
me and my
artistic
mother,
thing.
we go, we're outside, we talk to
Yeah.
people. Now she's getting better. She talks to people more now. But man, when she was younger, nah, nobody. Like, no, she
No,
didn't want to talk to
nobody.
nobody.
Honesty. Remember, you brought up honesty.
I have introvert tendencies, so I'd like to have deeper conversations with people, and most of the time you have to have like a connection with people before you get into that. I've learned over the years to just like ask the questions that I feel like I want to ask, and get into the conversation that I feel like I want to get into. But I would mentally check out when I tried the small talk, because I don't care how your day went. I don't care, like, I don't care how, like, I really genuinely don't. Like,
Be honest.
if you ask me about, like, or if I asked you about something, like, oh, well, like, how do you think something in your childhood impacted you for the rest of your life, or something like that? People tend to be pretty open with talking about those things.
Yep.
So that's what I've like now done. But prior to, people were just like, I think it was also because like people were young, so they didn't really have any like experience to talk about. But for me, I'm like, that's not that, and like, you know, if once you're like an artist, you know, sometimes feeling your emotions fuels your like creativity. So you have to be in kind of like a moodiness and sitting your emotions before you like create things. So
So
That's
articulate
profound.
way
That's
to say
profound.
that she hates people.
Yeah, and that you date airheads, because she said that she couldn't talk deeply with them, so therefore she did not.
No. She wasn't
That's
talking
what I
about.
got from
She
that.
was
That's what
talking
I
about
got
her
from. That's what I got
friends.
from. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Talking
that
about
your own friends. That's what.
no,
she's talking about people in her grade and
Mm,
stuff. You know,
mm,
she never attempted to talk to the woman that I was with
never.
that's not true.
until
once?
recently.
I forgot what was her name?
Yeah. That's how much you spoke to her.
What's her name?
She
When was that
Light-skinned
then?
Latin girl. I think she's like
Diana?
possibly. Yes.
What about her? You never spoke to her.
Yeah, because I used to call her my sister.
Oh, you really liked her.
I wasn't Tatiana. She didn't come. You spoke to her like at the house? No, in school.
In school, maybe, and I think maybe at the house. Maybe.
Shout out
She didn't
to
really
Tatiana.
come.
Oh,
Okay,
that's interesting.
news to me.
That's news to me too. I didn't even know that was an option back in the day, champ. That's interesting. I didn't know you dated Tatiana Ramos, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
for it's always sad to see, obviously. Um, what is something that you would give to like people that you can remember, like maybe a time when maybe you weren't in the best of relations with your sibling, and you were like, you know what, this is important, so let me break the ice this way. This is why I need to go and do this, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it was um maybe about 3 years ago, I think.
That's recent.
Where you like, I was like, this man is a misogynist. Like, but
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
and I was like, I told you about this multiple times, and now you've caught yourself in a situation by not listening to your sister. So now I feel like it goes my opinions and my life experiences that I talk to you about goes in one ear and out the other, because the way that you treat me is also the way that you treat everyone else. The way that you treat your parents is the way that you treat everybody else. So I was like, he needs to learn his lesson.
Wow.
So I was like, I don't feel comfortable talking to you. And I think it was like maybe 5 months. And then your birthday rolled around, and I was like, I feel like that's long enough. And I went to the party that
disaster.
Erica. Yeah, that was a lot.
Oh, you went to that
going
one?
And I don't know what.
You went to that one?
Yes.
Oh,
That was the only
man.
bright spot of that day. I got to talk to my sister after months.
But yeah, that's when I started talking to him again. 'Cause I was like, I feel like 5 months is enough.
5 months is enough.
That's a
Okay.
strong stance. I like that. I'm gonna let you take it because I know which one you're probably gonna refer to.
No, I like can't think of like a like time period where I feel like I was like, I don't really want to talk to him right now.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
like I feel like we never had anything that was like extreme that it was like I'm not gonna speak to him. Like I feel like he's always been like a crutch to like fall back on, and like he used to be my Google to like, why do I feel this way? And he used to be like,
Then she found out she had Google.
yeah. Then I became the Google myself. But I feel like I always like fell back on him since like we grew up together, but we didn't. Like there's a lot of gaps in like our childhood. So there wasn't like we had that time where we wouldn't speak in those gaps. So it was like, why waste time now that we're older? Like I didn't really get to grow up with you from like me being like 5 to like 9, and then I didn't get to grow up with you when you went back. Like it was a lot of gaps already. So I feel like there wasn't any like gaps in like our adulthood. Like
Not really.
I
Not
feel
really.
like
It was
we even when we're not on the same page, like we don't like let it like separate us.
no. I think a lot of it does play in the fact that like there's been so many like different points in time where we've just been further away from each other, like
Yeah.
physically. So we've had a different type of uh growth in our relationship where it's like we already know what it's like to be without each other, like seeing each other for like extensive period of time. So we don't really let that get in the way too much. I was really just gonna say maybe our little brother to an extent. We'll have different moments in time where we both are like, you know what, we're gonna cut him some slack. Like, you don't really have this, you don't really have that. He's 15, we'll cut him some slack. So I would use him more as an example than me and her
Yeah.
because like she said, we haven't had that lull in the action where it's like, I don't know what the fuck with you right now. Get out of my face. It's more like,
Yeah.
what's up? But we're not overly like, oh my god, brother, oh my god, sister. It's like,
I feel like
what's up? Like real,
Yeah.
real.
yeah.
Like we keep it real weird and like cool. Like that's how our relationship is. So again, I would just probably say my little brother, there's times where it's like, okay, I could be a better brother here. I can lead him and not direct him. Like go over there. It's more like if I had to do it all over again and I was your age, I'd probably go in that direction. And take that approach and less on the pedestal of being the brother dad and just being an older brother. So I would say more or less with him than with her.
He's just very different. Like very
It's like his mother.
like where did you get him? Like very there's like
We love
Like
them.
we're
We love
different, but
'em.
I feel like we share like a lot that like we can talk, we can like
Yeah,
conversate. Like I feel like with Malcolm, he's just
just Mac.
a different breed. Like I just don't understand.
Yeah, I gotta
Like,
meet this Malcolm
you
guy.
do have to be because sometimes like I don't.
Sometimes it just be. Yeah, I mean, look, all right. So here goes the story. Little man went and got a tattoo, right?
Oh my, he's
And
16, by the
16.
way.
I don't even think he was 16 at this time. I think he
No,
was
he
turning
wasn't.
16.
This was December.
So he just randomly got it, right? So of course, my mom is up in arms and calling me and explaining why
No, no,
he's.
no, no. This is how it happened. You don't remember how it
Go ahead. I'm
happened?
sorry. Go ahead.
So
Go
this is
first.
December. So it's not. It hasn't even been a full year yet. So we go on a family trip to visit my cousin because she have the baby yet? Yeah, she
Yeah,
just
she
had.
did. She did. She
So
did.
she just had her baby, and we were like, oh, let's spend Christmas together. Like she's down there, our aunts, like everything. Let's get like a Airbnb and everything. So like we were gonna have like a family like vacation. Malcolm didn't want to go. He was like, I don't
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
why I have to go. I
Right,
was
right,
like, I don't see you. Like, you're all the way in North Carolina. Like, why wouldn't you want to spend time with like your family? It's not even like the side of the family you don't want to spend time with.
right,
Like, this is like
right.
family that like will enjoy like, spending time with. So he didn't want to go. So we stopped fighting him on that. So he stayed home. Um, and then he calls me one day. He's like, "Are you by yourself?" Like when we're in the Airbnb. I think my mom's taking a shower. I don't know where you were. He was
Yeah, I was somewhere.
using the bathroom, something,
Something.
chilling. Like,
Yeah.
um, he's like, "Are you by yourself?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm by myself. Why? What happened?" He calls me and he's like, "Yeah, I just got this tattoo." He was like, "Don't tell mommy." Da da da. I'm like, "Okay." Like, I'm like, "What? What?" So he comes in the room. I'm like, "Did you see your brother? He got a tattoo." Like, he's on the phone. Like, I'm like, "Send me a picture of it. Like, let me see." He sends the picture. And he's like, "Oh, I just sent that to mommy." And I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
that's how that happened.
okay.
That's
So she
right.
comes in the room. She was like,
That's
"Do you know what
right.
your brother just sent me?" I said, "He's on the phone right now."
Right,
He's
right.
on the
He's
phone right
on the
now.
phone right now.
Like, so we had a whole intervention on
And
the
I think
phone.
and I think even
Like,
at that point in time, it was it was still like new, so much, she's just going on and on and on about it. I'm like, all right, you know what, I'll talk to him, I'll talk to him, I'll talk to him. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna take a different approach this time. I'm not gonna talk to him. I'm just gonna randomly ask him, what does the tattoo mean to you? So I finally get in the presence of said little brother in question. And I was like, yo, what does your tattoo mean? Oh, it means loyalty. You didn't tell him yet what the tattoo was, right?
no, 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 no. But he
Okay,
did say that. He
okay.
was like, "Love and
Love
loyalty."
and loyalty. Ask us what the tattoo is. Just ask us.
Okay, what's the tattoo?
It's a picture of a lion. It's a picture of a lion.
That's not even the worst part. I
Oh,
said
I'm sorry.
love
Yeah,
and loyalty to who? He said myself. I
that's
said,
what he said.
how
That's what he
would
said.
you betray yourself that you have to be loyal to? Like I was like, how would
And
you?
what does a lion signify?
He's like, I gotta.
What love is loyalty to yourself?
It's like I gotta watch
Oh
out for
man.
me, as if we're
Oh
all
man.
against him.
As if,
Like
as if lions don't live in packs. I mean, I don't.
I'm
You
like,
know.
oh,
Oh.
okay.
I'm telling you, man.
I gotta take care of me. At 15, I
At
gotta take
15,
care of
you know what I
me.
mean?
I gotta make sure I'm good at the end of the day. I don't care how anybody else feels as long as I'm good. Like you're not even your own person yet. Like you're not.
So
You can't
basically,
do anything.
he was reciting a Rod Wave intro, saying that he got himself and he's had this hard, extremely hard life. And we're sensitive to it because sometimes we don't really know what he might be dealing with mentally and all that good stuff in terms of like if he feels like things that we're just like, oh, that's not that bad, might be that bad to him. Not this time. Not this time. Not with the tattoo. It was like, come on, dog. Come on. Don't go tell him. Please don't tell nobody else. Just tell him you wanted to get a tattoo and pick an eye. Do not tell him it represents love and loyalty. Because it doesn't. It doesn't. They travel in packs, bro. Like they're
Oh.
all about family. Like, why would you pick an animal that's all about family and grouping and love? Like not love, I'm sorry. Just everything that you said it's not. I just need you to not say that in front of people. So he hasn't. So it's been good, but now that everyone knows because of the podcast, I couldn't stop him in time. So
It's the issue that he doesn't see anything wrong with it.
oh
Like
yeah,
we're
that
like,
that was the
oh,
part.
so
Yeah.
like you didn't think like your mother said wait until you're 16. You didn't even want to wait. Like he
Nope.
doesn't see anything wrong
Nope.
with it.
Nothing.
Nope. I guess I get viewed as like the cool sibling. So like he'll come to me like when he's like visiting, he'll be like, "Yeah, let's go get tattoos and let me drive your car." I'm like,
He's doing crazy stuff.
"Why
Wow.
are you
Wow.
asking me?"
Wow.
Like
Boy,
I'm gonna go
wow.
get tattoos with you. Like you're 16.
Boy be tripping.
Let's
Like
go get that
Buddy be
to
tripping.
your car.
I'm
Wow.
like, that's not you're not visiting New York as an adult. Like you're what? This is
Yeah,
a summer
yeah,
vacation. It's
he's
like,
wild.
let's go. I thought you knew a guy. I said, I'm of age. Like I know a lot of people, but like it's legal for me to get a
I forgot
tattoo.
about that.
I
Like
thought
I
you
thought
knew
you
a
knew a guy.
guy.
Like what? Not that tattoos minors. Like
Right,
what?
right. Like, come on, man.
Not the tattoos,
Y'all gonna
Oh
have to do
my
like
gosh.
a excerpt interview with Malcolm just randomly
Yes.
in
Oh
the
my
street with his
god.
tattoo showing.
He's he
And
posted
just
a
asking for his side of the story. This is
he posted a picture today.
oh yeah, he
Yeah.
did. Posing in the same exact way with
He
the
poses with
tattoo.
his head down. He poses like
The tattoo
every
like
picture
this.
he has is just no face, no face, no. I'm like, why do you do that? Like, do you not want your face?
Just like this.
Every
Every picture.
picture is him looking
But you can
down.
see the line.
Like you can't
You can
see
see
no part of his face. Like it's all like, what are you looking at?
oh my
Okay.
god. Oh my god. Him and his mother are the funniest people on social media. I swear. Yeah, they
It's so funny.
comedy, top tier comedy. Our mom has this new thing she been doing where she she got into this little I ain't gonna put it all out there, but she just got into a little something somewhere, significant other. So now when she posts something, she'll put as the caption, general statement, just saying.
Every post.
Every post. So let's just say she randomly forgets one day. And that's gonna be the time where it's like she really meant it and she didn't say it, and he's gonna be confused, like, oh, so this was about me.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's a general statement. I'm just saying.
It was I took a break off of social media and I went back on to Facebook to scroll to her be like general statement, general, and I was like, what is going on here?
Oh,
It'll be like a random post. I called them like, what is this general statement?
yo,
Like
we have to delete her Facebook. You know,
delete her
and just
everything.
delete it all.
Everything.
Fighting with people on Facebook.
Yeah, my dad.
Delete my Facebook friend.
Yeah,
Oh,
he gets on there. He just be, you know, God bless him. Black empowerment, black empowerment. F Trump, all of
oh,
that. You
oh,
know,
oh,
and he got old friends on there that
no. That
I
are
guess don't agree with his stances. That
oh my
they may not
gosh.
even be, quote unquote, right or left.
Uh,
They are maybe in the middle, and that's not far enough for him. Like,
I mean, Tom agrees.
oh, not the father shot.
as I was telling you, yes, yes, this is the
Oh
same
my
person.
gosh. So actually, no, I don't blame him on that. No,
Yeah,
dad, you got a good point.
no, yeah. So he like my dad. He's very meticulous, and so he's very vocal about it. So like he's had arguments with the person bagging his groceries. Like yeah.
What could they possibly be disagreeing on?
Yo, he just gets upset with them, right? He's like expects
So,
if you're a grocery bagger, you're supposed to know how to bag groceries. And if you don't, he's already upset about the fact that you got
you
to
put
Oh,
that you
that's
don't
funny.
know
someone
that.
put the bread with the meat. You know what I mean? They put the eggs on top of the.
Yes, and
Oh boy.
that gets him
Oh.
angry.
Like, does he get annoyed or is he like turned up now?
No,
Like you
it
just put
gets
the bread with
turned
the meat.
up. It's like
No,
Oh my
turns to
gosh.
180 in like 2 seconds flat.
because my dad doesn't he doesn't say it when it's something going wrong
Mhm.
initially.
Hmm.
He'll let it build up, and then so by like he won't say it on the first one. Like
Yeah,
on the
he'll
first one,
let
it's
you know.
like cool. That's the time when you can say something. Be like, hey, my groceries. I like them this way. No, he'll allow you to do that and get upset about it. And like, why you do that? Not say anything,
That
and
and he
then do
operates on
that.
like common sense being common, and
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He expects a grocery bagger to know how to bag groceries,
More times than not.
but not, but the way that he likes it.
Mhm.
You know, like he expects you to know. He thinks that
How
the way
he
his way is
is
the
the
most
most
efficient
efficient
way,
way of bagging.
and not just bagging groceries of life. So